It is Wednesday, my dudes. Wednesday, my dudes.
And welcome in. We are back here on 12 Ounce Sports and Zingo TV channel 761. It is We Talk Sports every Wednesday here. And we rested up, relaxed, nice Christmas break with the fam, and we're back at it. Welcome back,
Yes,
Randall.
sir. Merry Christmas and New Year's, Dom.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's to you. We got a lot of great past sports action this past weekend, and a great upcoming slate this upcoming weekend as well. So, without further ado, we'll just go straight into it, into football talk from all the way from NFL playoff picture later on to college football and the New Year's Six coming up with the big semifinal games, of course, as the highlight. But actually, I'm going to throw a curveball to here. I realized that I didn't get to bring up the high school football championship game I was at.
Which one did you go to?
I was at Founding Father Thomas Welly's College Station versus Katy Pato.
Okay.
On Friday night, which was a overtime thriller.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, so it was a great game that opened up with the first play on offense for College Station, a wide receiver bubble screen that went for a 70-yard touchdown.
Wow. Now is that 3A?
5A.
5A. Okay, so the Cowboys Stadium was packed.
It was a very raucous crowd for both sides. And then Thomas was informing too. The Paytown is one of kind of like a newer school, and so much so that it's grown so fast that when they realign next year, they'll go up to 6A.
Wow. So I mean, anyone who's who's listening that's not from the great state of Texas, Texas, whenever they talk about Texas football being religion, they're not joking. The state championship games, if you have not seen the pictures, pretty much almost all of those games, there is enough people that it pretty much fills up AT&T Stadium. So it's it's serious business.
Yeah, they just don't let you go to the third deck, and I'm sure if they did, it would be full.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. If they had third deck open, it would fill up. Sadly, the East Texas team with Gilmer, the team that I am very familiar with and played them all through my high school career, and the UTSA head coach is actually their former head coach. They lost to China Springs in the state championship. We were kind of sad about anytime an East Texas team has a chance, I like to root for them. But yeah, some good high school football going on a couple of weekends ago. So
yeah, it seemed like a lot of great games. Like I said, overtime, great game.
A lot of SEC players and big, Power 5 players playing on in those games. So
yeah, for sure. It was definitely a fun game. Feel bad because of course I'm on the College Station side and they lost. So it was very awkward at the end too, because it was just one of those moments. So obviously, I'm sure not a lot of people did see, but in overtime, so College Station, fourth and kind of medium long, they kick a field goal, trying to just, hey, that could still win it, but they had the ball first. So anyways, Paytown gets it, 4th and 1, coach goes for it, quarterback sneak. It looked like a good spot, to be honest, but they do have replay. Yeah. And they're showing it, and it was such a tough one because of how he fell. The ball's tucked in his right arm, so like you see the body and you see part of the ball, and everyone's screaming he's actually short. But I'm like, you can't see the whole ball. There's not like an overhead angle. The angle's also not like straight on the first down. It's slightly angled. So, but of course, College Station thinks, oh, it's clearly short. It's clearly short, and they're all screaming that he's short. And I was like, oh, I mean, like I get you. It was just such a like, no absolute way they're going to overturn it. And to be honest, when they ran the sneak, everyone, I don't think anyone like in the crowd even was like, oh, he's short. It was like, ah, dang, he got it. Now we're going to have to, first and goal, we got to try again. It just kind of felt like no one thought it was like a bad spot at first until they reviewed it. And then you saw a few replays and you're like, I mean, maybe it kind of looks like it, but also like you only saw part of the ball. Like it was tucked to his chest. So like when he fell on his back, when he actually hit the ground for the first time, was the ball across the line for a first down? It might have been. So like it was one that you absolutely couldn't overturn. And then of course the next play they run for a touchdown and it's over.
Right.
So just a crappy way to lose. I mean, I feel like they should. I don't know if they are holding it. I don't know, like holding that as like, oh, we got robbed. I don't think you should. They should, because I mean, it felt like a good spot on the initial viewing of it, and like the replay was not indefinite to overturn. So it kind of sucks that it kind of looked like it could have been short, but at the same time, I mean, I feel like it was the right call.
Yeah.
So, rough way to lose, though.
That is a rough way to lose. Yeah, that's rough.
So.
But it is what it is.
Yeah. But we'll stay on the playoff theme. I think we should preview some semifinal playoff games here first before moving to the New Year's Six.
Yeah, for sure.
And sticking in that same stadium, we have the Cotton Bowl, semifinal numero uno, starting at 2:30. Yep, it is 2:30. I couldn't remember if it was 3:30. 2:30 start is Cincinnati and Alabama. All the generic storylines you want to throw out there, but it is undefeated AAC champion Cincinnati versus 12-1 SEC champion Alabama. Here we go. 13.5 point spread for Bama.
David versus Goliath.
Yep, you're right on. So, where are your main thoughts for this game? And you can go storylines, or if you want to just jump right into like keys of the game you would like to see from either side.
I mean, honestly, the one thing that definitely sticks out to me is the only way Cincy has a shot is if Ritter is on his absolute A game.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, if he that we've seen games where he has not necessarily looked the best. If he has to play his absolute best game in order for them to even have a shot.
Yeah.
And I think him having his best game also equates to his offensive line having the best game, because keeping that Alabama defensive line and front seven out of the backfield is obviously going to be a tall task, but it is crucial for them to win.
Yeah. I would say my main two thoughts. I mean, obviously, I'm agreeing with you on that. I also think, to go on that same line, I think Cincinnati needs to call some designed run plays for Ritter, or at least be moving the pocket creatively.
Yeah.
To at least form some advantages, because you're right, the offensive lines are going to have to, instead of just saying everyone, has to have the best game of their career, at least put their team in better position, since size-wise it was going to automatically default to Bama, but you can still put, advantages to your favor. And you have enough athletic players on the offensive end to just make sure you're using that. Yeah.
And I know you typically Alabama is the one wanting to slow games down. In the past they always have, but I think it's crucial that Cincinnati tries to keep the ball out of Bryce's hands the most they possibly can, which, again, tall task with an Alabama defense, but I think you really don't want Bryce having a majority of the time of possession in his hands, because if he wins time of possession, this game is going to be very much over.
Yeah, I was just saying, on the flip side, yeah, you're right. You don't want him to have that time of possession. You don't want him to have that much time. Now, granted, I know Bama did dial up a lot of quick passes. They got the ball out of his hands fast versus Georgia. But Georgia doesn't blitz a whole lot. They just have a really good defensive line. So, I think it's also going to, once again, I think just creativeness for Cincinnati. That's probably, once again, a kind of generic thing to say what Cincinnati has to do. They need to be creative on blitzing. And just because you're going to have to, you're going to have to just make sure yes, Bryce Young's great at getting it out quick. But you know what? You also have two great corners in Sauce Gardner and Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? You got to just lean on them and say, hey, you know what? Mechie's out too. So just lean on them and go, hey, look, we are going to force Bryce to get the ball out quick. You guys are great. So we're going to trust you and tell you you're going to be having a lot of quick routes on you, and we need you to do your best to not get burnt, because one burnt out route, like Devontae Smith last year on that quick out, turned it upfield for, what was it, like a 60, 70-yard touchdown?
Yep.
Can't happen. So those two have to be on their game. Obviously, I know it's a very generic thing. Yes, everyone needs to be on their game on a playoff game, but trust your two great corners and just you're going to have to bring different blitzes. And yeah, you're going to have to get the ball out quick, because obviously letting Bryce Young have time is not going to work.
Yeah. If I'm them, I know this is something, even when teams are trying to shoot clock, they still don't usually use the play clock to its full advantage. But if I'm Cincinnati, I'm not snapping that ball until there's 5 seconds left every time. Like, I'm not snapping the ball before 5 seconds left on the play clock, period. They won't do that, because no one ever does that. But if I'm them, I'm milking that clock as much as possible every time we have the ball. Of course, that this is in a scenario where the game is close and you potentially have a lead or at least tied. But if they're in that position, they need to be using as much clock as possible.
Yeah. And then, no real reason behind this number, but I think you just want it to be at least a 10-point game going into half.
Oh, keep it close with 10? Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, because I think if Bryce goes into the second half, especially if you're getting the ball, or Alabama's getting the ball entering the second half, if they have a lead, Bryce gets the ball entering the second half and he scores it, it's over right there.
Yeah.
So I think that's also very crucial for Cincinnati. Is I would definitely want the ball opening the second half. I would, if you win the coin toss, I'm definitely deferring. Yeah,
that's a backbreaker to go in. Hey, we got it close to possess. Even if it's 10, but definitely if you're down 14 and then you come out of half and Bryce just marched downfield 21, it's over. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, coin toss strategy does matter. This isn't one that you can. I'll just kind of flip side it. I mean, on the other game, I'm not trying to change this games, but I think if you're Michigan, you actually want the ball first.
If I was Michigan, I would 100% want the ball first. Yeah.
Yeah. So it does matter some, and if you don't have the ball, if you are going to get the ball second, then you better be smart on that first drive. You cannot be a 3-and-out. Yeah.
Can I tell you something, Dom?
Yeah.
Through my whole high school career and junior high career, I was, most of junior high, I was always a captain. In high school, freshman, sophomore year, I was always a captain. Junior and senior year, we basically did alternating captains, especially senior year. Junior year, I probably wasn't a captain at all. But senior year, we basically just alternated seniors for captain. I may have lost a coin toss once. Maybe. I always won the coin toss. I was lucky as could be on those bad boys. Just wanted to throw that out there. I barely ever... I think Maximum, I might have lost 2, maybe, and that's being generous. Tails never fails, though.
All right. There you
We
go.
want the ball, and we're gonna score.
Oh, yeah.
And that's usually exactly how that went down. We would immediately give the ball back to them, and they would score.
Oh. But hey,
Yeah.
you did your job. You won the toss.
I did my job. I won the toss. Oh gosh! The next thing that was getting tossed was me to the ground by a defensive tackle that would eventually go to Alabama or A&M or something like that.
Oh no.
Yep.
Well, getting you away from those bad memories. Any other lasting points that you want to make sure gets heard before the game on this one?
No. Other than if I'm Bryce Young, I'm wondering if I can have more than 6 passing touchdowns in the game. I'd be hyped if I was him. I'd be excited. I would be thinking this is a chance for me to like show out a little bit. I think he can. I know the Cincinnati defense is good, but I think he can rip it. I really do.
All right. Well, to my favorite game, or maybe least favorite game of the day, depending on what the result's going to be.
Depending on what happens.
6:30, Georgia, Michigan in Miami at the Orange Bowl. Looking like minimal COVID impact on this game. Georgia, I mean, I think it sounded like JT Daniels will be cleared by game, but of course that gave them the, how you want to look at it, excuse to really go all Stetson Bennett leading up, so he got all the reps. If you want to call that a controversy, whatever.
Yeah.
It looks like, and I thought this was more on from his previous injury, but maybe it was COVID. Looks like George Pickens will play. Now, in what capacity? I mean, he tore his ACL this year in March.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know what capacity he can be. I mean, he suited up the last,
He played the last 2 games.
Last 2 games, I thought. I didn't think it was a high snap count. I could be wrong.
I think he maybe had quite a bit of snaps.
Okay, you can
second.
check me in the championship game. He might have. I wasn't 100%. But on Michigan side, it seems like right now the only impact, which is not a good one, but it's not the worst. I don't want to say that. I like him a lot. Dax Hill, safety, do-it-all safety tool, looks like he's not going to play with COVID. There's a small chance he could. He didn't travel down to Miami, basically.
Yeah.
So there's a small chance he could test out and travel down tomorrow. But I wouldn't put it at very high odds. So I mean, it's not a Jabo, it's not Hutchinson, but he might be 3 or 4 right there on importance on the defense, which will be the most unfortunate part, is because he probably would be have a lot of assignments on that's Bauer, right, their freshman tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he would probably be the one that had a lot of assignments on him, which is unfortunate because he might have been the best tight end as a true freshman in all of college football.
Right. Let's see.
But, I mean, taking it, if that's the only major thing, I mean, Corum seems pretty healthy, so now we have a trio of running backs with Haskins, Corum, and Donovan Edwards. I mean, you have pretty much all receivers for Michigan, obviously, except Ronnie Bell. I mean, so you're looking at a fairly healthy and ready to go teams, both teams, and you're looking at a Georgia 7.5 point favorite in this game. Look, I'm just going to go off my bias fandom and just go, is this just not the right year for us? We've over the hurdles for Harbaugh. Win at Wisconsin. Done. Win at Penn State. Done. Beat Ohio State. Done. Win a Big Ten championship. Done. So we've come this far, and you know what? Georgia, their hurdle has always been beat Bama, and they missed it. So I'm just going to go for my storyline bias of it's just lining up for us.
You think it's just lining up for
It's
him?
just lining up right. And you know what? Having Ojabo and Hutchinson for Stetson Bennett makes me very comfortable on defense. Now, the flip side, obviously Georgia's defense is very good, but I just feel like the weapons McNamara's been getting better. McNamara surprised me. I think I've said this on the show. I know I've said it to you before. I thought the only chance we had early in the year to beat Ohio State at all would be to transition slowly to J.J. McCarthy, and I was wrong.
Yeah.
McNamara is the quarterback development we have waited to see out of Harbaugh. But the right packages they have for JJ to still keep him involved and use his running ability and his arm is there. I mean, I feel like we can be creative enough on offense. I'm not saying Alabama gave the blueprint, but if Georgia does just say, oh, we're just that good of a run-stopping team, we can just do it, just try to run it on us, I think Michigan will find some success. And there's enough ability to break a play, I think, in that secondary that Michigan can take advantage. On the defensive side, I'm not going to be like, oh, Stetson. I just don't trust that Stetson Bennett can be this good of a defense. I mean, I don't think there was the play that I saw in the championship game where he heaved up, stepped up in the pocket, gave it his all to throw a deep route and 10-yard under threw it still.
Yeah.
I don't feel like he can beat you over the top. His running ability is sneaky, but I feel like that can be contained with the edge rushing we have. I don't think he's outrunning Ojabo on an end if Hutchinson pushes him one way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was just going to say, there is one thing that determines this game completely, to me. The pace. It depends whose pace we go.
Yeah.
If we go Georgia's pace, Georgia's going to win. Y'all can't beat a grinded out game against Georgia. If we go Michigan's pace with explosive plays and forcing Georgia to pass and those pass rushers coming in, it's y'all's win. It's y'all's game to win.
Yeah.
It all depends on who can set the tone and set the speed of the game early. I know that's not something people usually think about in football as much as they do basketball, especially in college basketball. Setting the pace is huge, and whoever sets the pace, college basketball is usually the winner. But it also applies in football very much so with teams that are so drastically different like this. I wouldn't say y'all are drastically different, but y'all definitely, especially defense, you both heavily go with your defenses,
right.
but offensively, y'all have more tendency to have those explosive plays, which if y'all get those going and Georgia has to keep up scoring wise, it's y'all's game to win. Period. Because Stetson Bennett is not going to be able to do it, and especially with your defensive ends pinning their ears back, it's over. So you're just really hoping that y'all can set that pace early of having to pass and having to keep up, because if you do, I really think y'all can win. And I think y'all can do this. I really do. But I'll say this. You were saying that Georgia's demon has always been Bama, and they haven't actually gotten past that demon yet. But that's what this whole season's set up to be, baby. It's set up for Georgia. It's set up for Georgia to get past that demon finally in the national championship.
That's fair.
Where else?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I called. It's what I called at the beginning of the season, Georgia versus Bama in the national championship, and Georgia wins. I think it's what you called too, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Did I? Yeah, I mean...
I think you had Georgia Bama.
No, I think I forced Bama out because I said the only way Georgia could win is not playing Bama.
Oh, okay.
I had Georgia over Ohio State.
Okay, fair.
Because my only shot for Georgia to win was to not have to face Saban twice.
That's fair. Well, I'll say this: it's really hard for a team to get to beat a team twice. Yeah. Even though if there is one team that likes to do it quite a bit, it's Bama. But I think that is where they finally exercise their demon and they get past Bama in the national championship.
Not fair. I mean, I think my biggest concern is the fact that we have to face Georgia coming off a loss, and that is still a really, really good team, and to make them lose 2 games in a row sucks.
Right.
But I do want to ask you then, on this spread, 7.5?
7.5 is a little steep. It's a little steep. Just for especially UGA, I feel like a 4.5 would have been more reasonable.
Yeah, a whole over a touchdown just felt a little odd to me.
Yeah. I think.
Just want to point out, we are a spread covering machine at Michigan.
Actually, I think 3.5 would have been fair. 3.5 for Georgia. That way they can win by the field goal. Anything over 3.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Just want to say, Michigan's 11-2 against the spread. Georgia's 8-5.
Fair enough. But to be fair, also Georgia was getting. They never could quite figure out Georgia because of they're playing these teams that they end up blowing out.
Right.
Not necessarily like on paper though. Like you know what I mean? Like it's clear they dominated the game, but they were dominating with defense and grinding out. So I don't know.
Yeah. But is there like a...
What's the over-under? I didn't...
45.
45.5.
Oh, it is a half.
Interesting.
I mean, is the winner who gets to 28?
I think if you... I don't know, man. I don't know. I think if you get in the 30s, y'all win. If either team is in the 30s, it's y'all winning. I think Georgia wins the game 28-21 type of thing.
Gotcha.
I think y'all would be winning 35-28.
I gotcha. Well, then I guess that's your official prediction. And I kind of already gave my official prediction there.
Actually, no, that's not my official prediction.
No?
That's not.
I mean, you just said that this is the kind of magic to win the Natty.
Yeah. But I'm saying no. I'm picking Georgia. Are we picking scores?
No, I'm not saying picking scores.
Okay,
I'm just saying
okay.
your pick is still Georgia, though, the win.
Yes, absolutely. My pick is Georgia. Absolutely, my pick is Georgia. I'll say.
You don't have to
20...
give the points, but.
Oh, I'm going. I'm doing it. I'm gonna say 24-17.
No. I'll take 31-24.
31-24 Michigan, huh?
Yep.
Nice. Okay. Should be interesting. I'm excited for you. You're either gonna have an incredible New Year's Day or a horrible.
Exactly.
Like this is gonna I don't know if you have plans for New Year's Day, like if your family goes and does anything or anything like that. We always get together and eat, black eyed peas and all that good stuff. But man, if y'all lose, you might just want to stay home.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna want to do anything tomorrow or the day after.
No, and honestly, tomorrow either. Get your mind right.
Yep.
You gotta get your mind right for a whole 24 hours
Gotta
before.
Gotta focus and prep.
Bury your nose in the playbook.
I've got to
get the M&M playing. You gotta get focused.
Get my food menu set and ready to go. Time out when I'm starting cooking, so when I know food's ready. I've already realized I got a couple new Michigan gear, but I'm like, no, I can't wear that. I've got to make sure I get the stuff that I've worn the last few weeks out. Yeah. Yep.
Go ahead and transfer any funds you need to go ahead and buy the recap video that they always do on the. I have both the 2005 Longhorns and the 2009 Saints championship videos.
I'm wearing my Michigan Big Ten championship shirt. However, I can't wear that for the game because that's not what I've worn the last 3 weeks. So.
Yes. Are you sitting in the same seat?
Oh yes, 100%. I know where I sat. Well, the thing was, I wasn't at home for the Big Ten championship, but I was at the home for Ohio State. I watched the Big Ten championship with friends in Austin, actually.
Oh, okay. I don't do that. I don't. If it's a game that actually matters for Texas, which this year, not a lot of them did, but if it's a game that matters, I do not watch them with people. It's actually my theory on why we lost to Oklahoma. I wasn't even in the state of Texas. I was in Kansas watching that game, and that was the beginning of the downfall of our season. So I'm blaming it on the entire state of Kansas.
That's fair. Yeah, just blame everything on Kansas.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I set the plans to go to Austin before the Ohio State game, not really thinking that
It would.
they'd have a game.
Wow. That's incredible.
But anyways, we'll move to the other kind of quick points picks for the New Year's Six rest of the bowls. Not spend too much time so we can jump on the other side of the break of the NFL and the playoff picture so far. So we have one New Year's Six game not on a New Year's Eve or day. That is the Peach Bowl tomorrow. Pittsburgh, Michigan State. No Kenny Pickett, no Kenneth Walker. Michigan State -2.5. I have no feeling either direction in this game. I'm leaning Michigan State because of receivers, but then I realize I don't know if 100% if both receivers are playing for them. And then at the opposite side, Jordan Addison for Pitt is really good. He had almost 1,500 yards, 17 touchdowns, 98 receptions, and he was a sophomore, so he's playing. I mean, no Pickett, but
that's what. Do we know? What do we know about the Pitt backup quarterback? Who are we looking at? Do we know who it is?
I don't know who it is.
I don't either. That's why I'm like,
Jalen Naylor and Jaden Reed, both juniors for Michigan State. I don't think I've seen anything on if they're playing or not.
You mean for Pitt?
No, for Michigan State. They have two receivers that are pretty good. That's why I'm just going to assume they're playing. I know it's a terrible assumption.
Who's the backup quarterback for Pitt? Because I mean, so Pickett's not playing, but like who? That's the make or break. I don't know if the backup quarterback's any good.
Patty looks.
Oh, Patty the Batty.
Nick Patty.
Done. Pitt. That's all you needed to say was his name.
14 attempts during the year.
How did those go?
He was 12 for 14, 140 yards, no touchdowns, no picks.
I'll take Pitt.
All right.
I'll take Pitt. I'll take Patty the Batty.
All right. I'm just going to take Michigan State in the lean. And I have no pick on the spread because I did not want to touch it.
No. I didn't even look at the spreads this week.
And then the rest of your New Year's Six games will be on New Year's Day. We'll start it off with the Fiesta Bowl, Oklahoma State and Notre Dame. 2.5 point spread Notre Dame. I'll just go ahead and kind of say this is one of my picks for spreads this week. I did 5. I'm taking Oklahoma State plus 2.5. I like the defense. I think it's defensive. I don't trust Spencer Sanders at all, but I'm going to trust that Oklahoma State wins a close one.
No,
sir. You don't like that.
No, sir. I think Notre Dame, I think they come out pissed. I love the coaching staff that ended up staying. I have Notre Dame trending upwards now that Kelly's gone. I'm taking Notre Dame, and I'm taking Notre Dame by a lot. Right. I think they cover the -2.5 easily.
All right.
I think Spencer Sanders throws like 3 picks.
Well, that's very likely. For sure.
Yeah, I don't normally take Notre Dame, but I like what head coach, can't think of his name.
Freeman.
Marcus yes, love it. Love it, and I love former quarterback staying on as OC. I love it all. I love it.
All right. Well, moving on to the granddaddy of them all. We have Utah.
Iowa versus Kentucky. Oh.
Utah
no, not the Camping World.
Ohio State. I mean, I don't know all the opt-outs, to be honest, but I like Cam Rising. I thought he should have been the starter from the beginning for Utah. However, there's still just too much talent at Ohio State. Even if their 3 main receivers don't play, their next 3 receivers are crazy talented. So Ohio State.
Let's just say you don't know something that I don't know, that C.J. Stroud's not playing, right?
I mean, their quarterback room, I don't think it mattered either way.
Dang, you think even if Stroud didn't play, it'd be over?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I mean, what they had... I mean, I know yours is out, but coming into the year, they had, 3 5 stars, 2 4 stars, or flipped? in that quarterback room. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah. I love Cameron Rising too. It turns out out of the 3 quarterbacks we had, we let the one go that probably should have been the actual quarterback. But transferring from Texas, obviously, if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about. But I'll still take Ohio State. That team's just way too loaded.
Yeah. And then finally, we have Baylor and Ole Miss in the Sugar Bowl, with Lane Kiffin and the Rebels minus 1.5. I'm going to lay the points for Ole Miss. I like Baylor this year, but
is Corral playing?
Corral is playing. He has said he wants one more game with his team.
What a cool dude. I like that.
So with that news, knowing he's playing, I'm taking Ole Miss. I think Lane's going to dial up some big plays for him to show off.
Yeah, is Bohannon playing? Is he good? Is he cleared?
I believe Bohannon's cleared. I'm not 100%.
I hope he is. I think that makes it a better game.
I haven't seen anything for sure, so that was also my concern.
Okay. No, I mean, either way, I'll still take Ole Miss, but if Bohannon plays, I think it's a closer game.
He is expected to play.
Cool. Okay, well, I think it'll be a little bit closer then. I'll still take Ole Miss, but I think if it was that kid that had to play in the Big 12 championship, it probably wouldn't be close. But I'll take Corral, especially if he's or Ole Miss, especially with Corral playing. That's exciting. I'm glad to hear he's playing too.
Yeah, so that's
he must look at the Baylor defense and be like, I'm not worried about getting hurt.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting. They did have pretty good defense this year.
They do, but do they? We'll see.
Yeah, so that'll be a fun game, ending the New Year's Day off. So there's your games for New Year's 6 bowls. Then my last couple picks, I gave obviously 2 of those my 5. I'm taking Kansas State minus 3.5 versus LSU and the Texas Bowl. There's not a whole lot left of LSU showing up for that bowl game.
Nope.
I didn't actually bring up. I'm going to take Cincinnati plus 13.5 versus Bama. I think it might be like a late cover to put it at like a 10-point win.
Ooh.
Bama did that the last year. They let a late cover for a big spread.
Yeah.
So I think you could see a late cover because I think Cincy will at least play competitive and lose around 10. So, and my lock of the week, props for stepping up, but get me Wake Forest minus 14.5 versus Rutgers. That's not a good. That's Rutgers isn't.
Who is Wake Forest supposed to play? Oh, A&M, right?
Yeah. This is a pissed off Wake Forest that their team's not there. They're going to take it out on whoever's going to show up. And props to Rutgers for being 5-7 and having a high academic progress rate to be that first team up. But Wake Forest is actually pretty good.
I was so glad that we weren't offered. I'm so glad. 5-7, that could have been us, and I'm glad it wasn't.
Rutgers has allowed almost 400 yards of offense to opponents, and Wake Forest has about their whole offense playing this game.
Yikes.
I'm props to you, Rutgers, for accepting it and showing up. But this is a 10-3 team playing a 5-7 team.
Yeah.
Points. Wake Forest.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
Yeah. So, with that being said, we're going to hit break, and on the other side, we are going to jump into NFL. Quick look back, but primarily focusing on the playoff picture. Stay tuned.
Ounce Sports has a new home for betting. BetUS.com is the official place to place your bets and support 12-ounce sports. All you have to do is go to BetUS.com and type in the promo code 120OT and you'll instantly get a deposit bonus. This is America's favorite sports book. And remember, always gamble responsibly.
And we are back here on the other side talking about some NFL and the playoff picture that has to go with it. And jumping right into it, I wanted to bring us over to the AFC, as some of those results we had from last week really kind of shook things up, as we had with the Browns.
You're welcome, AFC.
You're welcome. Thanks to the Saints, as Dolphins get another win. But we also see the Pats lose, the Browns lose, and the Bengals beat the Ravens, with a Texans win, shuffle things up so that it is KC 1, Titans 2. Bengals are now 3rd with a division lead, Buffalo 4 with a division lead, and Colts move up to 5th with Patriots 6, and the Dolphins holding their own destiny at 7 over other 8 and 7 teams, Baltimore, Chargers, and Raiders. I think we've eliminated Pittsburgh, right? They're finally out, right?
No, they're still in.
I mean, they're still in by technicality, but you really actually give them a chance.
No, yeah. I've basically Broncos and Steelers are out for me.
I mean, they have the Browns and the Ravens left.
Yeah, let's see. Who did the Broncos have?
So while you're looking that up,
Broncos have Chargers, Chiefs. They're out. Well, I don't know. So if follow with me here. If Chiefs end up sealing that number 1 overall, which I think is possible this week, correct?
If the Titans lose.
So if Titans seal up that number 1 overall seed, they'll rest that last week. So if Broncos beat Chargers, and then they play a Chiefs team, they actually have a shot still. I mean, I think some other things would have to happen, but so you can't really...
The problem with that is, if the Titans lose, that means they're losing next week to the Dolphins.
But Broncos could still get it. They could still get the 8 seed.
There's only 7, not 8.
Oh, there is only 7. I'm thinking of NBA. Good lord. I'm thinking of NBA. Yeah, you're right.
It's not looking great. I'm not sure where their window technically falls. It must be some tiebreakers, because I'm thinking 9-8 Dolphins and 9-8 Broncos. I don't see that in their favor, because I know a common is conference record, and they're 5-5, and Broncos are 3-7 in conference. So I'm not really sure, where that tiebreaker is going to come from. There's not a head-to-head. I guess maybe a common opponent kind of thing.
So for which team are you looking at? I have
for the Broncos still. I'm trying to think how that would work, because they would need. I guess they would need the Titans to win. They would not need to look at Chiefs resting. They just need to look at Dolphins losing.
Yeah.
So I think it gets a little too messy there for the Broncos. Funny enough, one of Elise's family members is a big Browns fan, so we were spending.
Interesting.
He's from Ohio. He's the one that is a Ohio State fan that I finally got to actually have some bragging rights on this Christmas.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
But we were looking at the Browns' chances with him, and basically it's a division win. They need to win out, and I mean their path isn't as crazy after they lost. I mean, the Browns have 2 division games left, Steelers and Bengals, and they would hold the tiebreaker on the Bengals, so they would need 1 loss, which is reasonable, coming from, or the Bengals would need to lose both to the Chiefs and Browns, which
is doable.
Is doable, and then they just need, I believe, just 1 loss from the Ravens, which is doable because it's Rams. and Steelers, which more so on the Rams, and then they play the Steelers, so they just need the Steelers to lose once. So the scenario for the Browns to win the division's there. There's no great chance at wild card, but there's a division chance. It just is all on the Browns to win out then, really.
Yeah. Interesting.
But funny enough, we were talking last week about, didn't we think this playoff picture was what it was going to be, just maybe rearranged? And the Dolphins just sneak in there thanks to the Chargers. I thought we were done with the San Diego Chargers, and we're the Los Angeles Chargers that don't choke games like this away.
Let me ask you something, and this is probably going away a little bit with where you wanted to go, but looking at the AFC, obviously we have Kansas City here at the top, and they're playing well again. Do you think they're playing so well that they're unbeatable now in the AFC?
No.
Because I don't. Which leads me to say, outside of if the Dolphins make it, every single one of these teams could end up in the Super Bowl in my mind.
Absolutely. I think 1 to 9, I don't want to really go 10 for AFC is a jumbled mess. And then you have the NFC, which is the top heavy. And then
I'm just saying that the teams Chiefs, I can see making it to the Super Bowl, obviously. Titans, I could see. Bengals, could see. Bills, yes. Colts, yes. Pats, yes. Dolphins, I can't see a path for them to actually make it to the Super Bowl. I just don't see it. Ravens, sure, I could see it happening. Lamar starts playing out of his mind. Blah 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 blah. Chargers,
Everyone has to get healthy, and they have to hit a new stride again.
Yeah, right. But that's
it's doable.
A possibility. Raiders, if they somehow made it in, I could see it.
That's where I kind of draw the line.
But then Browns,
I flipped the Raiders and Browns in my mind.
Just to make you happy, Tom.
Well, I know, but I flip Brown. That's where I draw it at 10-ish, and I flip Browns to 10, and that's perfect scenario Browns. That would be needing to win the division, which would have to happen so they can have home field, and then everything just magically starts clicking again like last year, which, I guess if you win the last 2 games decisively, maybe there is that spark, but it would have to be in a miracle 2 weeks. But we've seen teams turn. We saw the Dolphins just lose 7 in a row and then win 7 in a row. So I
want to point out though that there's 7 in a row are not.
It's not pretty.
Texans, a beat up Ravens team, Jets, Panthers, Giants, Jets, and then a Saints team that had that we've had 22. I think it was 22 players out, and we've had something like 60-something starters over the season.
Yeah.
We're on a 4-string quarterback.
If you look at strength of schedule, they are by far the weakest team in the picture with a 375. The only ones lower in the AFC is the Broncos and the Texans.
Right.
And if you want to go even bigger picture, there's no one in the NFC that has a lower strength of schedule.
Right.
They have the 3rd easiest schedule.
Yeah.
So you're right. That was games you should win. But they're winning them at the same point. You gotta,
by the way, hats off to Kansas City, because their strength of schedule at 540 is, I think, the highest in the NFL. Washington. Well, oh no, the Giants. Oh, the poor Giants. 564. Poor Giants.
Sorry, excuse me. I was looking at SOV, not strength of schedule.
Yeah, your strength of victory.
Strength of victory is worse, but strength of schedule is actually even worse. They are the easiest in the AFC.
Yeah.
And they're the easiest in the NFL.
Yeah.
So 3rd worst strength of victory and the worst strength of schedule. So not a great there. But they're winning. But you're right. I don't really consider if they make it a contender. So that's why, 9, 10-ish. But if you look at the NFC, do you go, we'll flip to the NFC side. I don't really give, I'm sorry, but the Cardinals choking in the second half of the year, I only go 4 deep in the NFC.
I'd go 5 deep still. I'll still give the Cards. Hey, you know what? You know what?
We get San Francisco.
I'll go 60. I'll go 60. I could see San Francisco doing a run, having that running game click. Jimmy G. Ooh, how long is Jimmy G out?
At least next week, possibly 2. I would say the opposite. If Trey Lance shows off, then
that is true. That true.
Would open up the 49ers more so in my mind than Jimmy G coming back.
Yeah. A Kaepernick situation there where he kind of comes in, because Kaepernick came in really late in the season, didn't he? Or was it like mid-season when he came in?
It was more mid.
But when he came in, just sparked something in that team that just
exactly. I mean, at this point,
similar styles of play too between those two.
He's had enough time to get enough of the playbook. They should be able to just say, "All right, just go for it."
Oh yeah. But I still see the Cardinals. I mean, look, if I grew up in the great state of Texas. I know Kyler Murray's a winner. So anytime you have Kyler Murray at quarterback, I still have faith. I have faith, or I'm not saying I have faith that he'll make it to the Super Bowl. I'm not counting them out. If they're in a position to be in those games, I'm not going to count them out and say that there's no way. So, I would say it could potentially go 6 deep there. The one that I have the hardest time believing can win it, actually, I don't see it from the Rams. I really don't. I don't see it. I don't know. I have a hard time seeing it. And their strength of schedule is very low. And their strength of victories is very low.
Yeah, that's fair.
They have, out of the playoff teams, they have the second lowest strength of schedule, the Eagles being the lowest. And then their strength of victory is the second lowest as well. So, I don't know.
That's fine. I just want to say I'm feeling even more confident, though, in my Super Bowl bet.
Are you?
I mean,
what was your
the Packers to win it all.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
well, I'm feeling good about mine.
The Packers have Vikings and Lions, and Lions are scrappy, but we're not beating Aaron Rodgers if he needs to get the game for home field.
Right.
And they lost to the Vikings. I don't see the Vikings taking 2 from Aaron Rodgers.
No.
So, and that's a home Sunday night game.
I don't know that he'll need to.
Okay. All right.
In which that leads you to something if you're keep tabs of what I'm talking about.
Yep.
That leads you to believe something here.
That's
so
fair.
I don't know if they'll need to.
All right. Well, interesting. Well, we'll get the picks here in a second. But is it? I mean, oh man. I guess really.
Is it possible for the Saints? No, Dom, it's not.
We went through the scenarios.
Look, man, nah.
I mean, and they don't hold tiebreakers, which is really unfortunate.
No. If we had any chance of the playoffs, we had to win 2 nights ago or 3 nights ago. Whatever it was.
So, do you think it will be what we see in the NFC? What it is now as the teams? Maybe a shuffle of order, though. I know we just said that for last week, but you now actually think the 7 in are probably going to be the 7 in.
Looking at the schedule left, yes. I think a little, I guess spoiler alert. I'm gonna take Philly to actually sweep with Washington.
Yeah.
So I'll take Philly to win this. Which puts them at what?
9-7.
9-7.
And even if they lose to the Cowboys 9-8, I don't think Vikings are winning 2. I don't think Falcons are winning 2.
Correct.
They have the tiebreaker over the Saints if the Saints were to win out.
Right. So I think it'll stay where it's at.
I agree. That's why I think that one's kind of a pretty locked in 7. The AFC still have some wiggle room here, as we just discussed. Before we get to picks here real quick, then, do you want to go make a bold proclamation that the AFC 7 are the AFC 7 again?
Wait, say that one more time.
You said last week that the 7 we saw would be the 7 in. Do you still want to say that again with the new 7?
Oh, absolutely not.
I don't think the Dolphins can win the last 2.
Was it Ravens at 7 last week?
Ravens technically were in the division lead.
Oh.
But then with the loss, Bengals actually took the division lead, and that knocked them down. But I don't see the Dolphins winning 2 games lower. And I think a 9-8 Dolphins is not going to have as much tiebreakers once other teams start breaking up.
So with our picks just coming up right now, I'll go ahead and spoil this one.
There you go.
I actually have a pretty big upset this week. I'm taking Ravens over the Rams, and then I think they'll be able to beat the Steelers as well. So I think the Ravens will end with that 7th seed there.
All right. Well, as we continue in picks, I'm going to take the Rams though. Even with Lamar coming back, I think there's just a little too beat up this week. I'm not eliminating them because I believe a win next week can still get them in.
Wait, you know what? I'm actually saying the Bengals end with the 7th seed.
No.
Because if Ravens win out, again, this is just completely getting into our pigskin pickup here. But I'm saying the Chiefs beat the Bengals this week.
I will have that pick as well.
So that would put Ravens at 10-7 or 11-7, and Bengals at 10-6. So Bengals would be either 6 or 7 seed depending on how I had the Pats playing out.
All right. Well, continuing on picks there. No Thursday games, so going straight to Sunday. Falcons at Bills. I think we both got the Bills.
Yep.
What mess of a game here do you want? Giants and Bears?
I'll take the Bears, I guess.
Yep. To be honest, I completely didn't realize Nick Foles was starting the game last week.
Yeah.
Also, this is just a win-win for the Giants. I guess not win-win because they have the Bears pick. So, if they beat the Bears pick gets worse, so they get it. If they lose, they're just getting a better pick for their own picks. Yay! Bears win.
Right.
We both have the Chiefs over the Bengals, as we just said. Dolphins at Titans. As I kept saying, I don't see the Dolphins winning both. I will get them the win here, but they lose next week.
I think they lose both. I'll take Titans.
Raiders at the Colts. I think this is the hottest team to watch for. Take the Colts.
I will also take the Colts.
Jags at Patriots.
Yeah,
Patriots rebound. Bucks at Jets. Bucks.
By the way, real quick on the Colts. I don't know how much time we have, but real quick on the Colts. I think they have a real good shot at making the Super Bowl. I like the way they match up against a lot of those AFC teams in the playoffs.
That defense is good too.
That running game, it's just like that matches up well against a lot of those defenses. The only one that I think they'll have trouble with is the Chiefs, just because Mahomes can light it up. But that is a dangerous team.
Yeah, agreed. Well, we both just did say we were taking the Eagles over Washington too.
Oh yeah. Eagles. Yep.
You have the Ravens. I have the Rams.
Yeah, that's a stretch for me, but I don't know. Lamar is playing, correct?
Yep, correct.
Yep. Yeah. I'll take Ravens. Of course, if COVID hits or something, I don't know. But yeah, Ravens.
We both have Chargers then?
Yep.
They can't. Yeah, they can't. They'll have Eckler back too.
They can't do this.
They'll have Eckler back. Good for the Texans in the win, but give me Trey Lance in a good game for the 49ers.
Yep, give me Niners.
And as you were
well over 200 yards rushing for the team.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. As you were alluding to, we're going to go against each other on this one. You seem to be taking the Cardinals.
I am taking the Cards.
I will be taking the Cowboys off their 50-point game.
This is going to be a fun one.
It's a afternoon Sunday game.
Yeah.
Your Saints are hosting the Panthers.
Against better judgment, I'm going to take the Saints.
Let's go. Panthers don't have a quarterback, so...
Spell go for me, Dom.
Taysom Hill.
No, you're supposed to... Geaux.
No.
Go. Saints. It's fine.
All right. Mine's Seahawks. I'll take Seahawks.
Yeah, I'll take the Hawks. Sorry, Tom.
Oh,
I
that's
can't
fine.
believe they're that bad, though.
I know it doesn't make sense. But hey, this
The
win.
whole Russell Wilson to the Saints movement, I'm like, I'd rather just stick with Jameis.
Oh.
I mean, I think Jameis leads quicker to just the next evolution of the Saints, where Russell, I think, prolongs our death.
Okay. Interesting. If the
I don't think
Seahawks
Russell's
win,
going to win us the Super Bowl. I don't.
Okay.
Sorry.
If the Seahawks win, this will lock the Lions to at least a top 2 pick. As I alluded to, Rodgers isn't losing to Vikings, so give me the Packers. And in Monday Night Football, the last home game for Ben Roethlisberger, Browns Big Ben 4 interceptions.
Oh my God, no, that's horrible. I don't know about 4 interceptions, but at least 1 strip sack from Myles Garrett.
Oh yeah, a very immobile Big Ben just gets it ripped away with him trying to run away.
I'm gonna say this: I don't even think Big Ben gets thrown to the ground. I think Myles Garrett's quick enough that he literally just takes it out of his hands. It's just basically a handoff.
And then he just kind of falls down just to fall down to act like he got hit.
Acts like it's a penalty. Acts like he got hit in the face.
No.
And then Mason Rudolph's going nuts on the sideline.
Oh, all right. Well, and also to bring an update, we are tied in our NFL picks. So these last 2 weeks are going to be big as we do have some different picks. So
these are crucial.
Huge last 2 weeks. Huge weekend of events. We will catch you next Wednesday. I will be in an amazing mood or a terrible mood. We shall see. As always, follow us on We Talk Sports Good on Twitter and Instagram. And have a great rest of your night. Go Blue.